I'm not going to mention that game.
You mentioned the other games.
I'm going to mention since 2013, 5 times a ranked Oregon team has gone to the state of Arizona. 4 times they have left a loser.
Yeah, it's a terrible place.
Including 3 times as a double-digit favorite. Yeah. 2019, they were number 6, 9-1. Arizona State was 5-5. They lost to the 13.5-point favorite. They did blow out Arizona in Tucson last year, but this feels like way too many points. You take away the one game in Utah where Arizona State had all the quarterback issues, and it was just a complete debacle. The week after Oregon went into Salt Lake and blew out the Utes. Like, you got the Civil War next week. You've got the Pac-12 title game. A lot of times when you in the college football playoff era, like, you see yourself outside the top 4, you kind of press a little bit at times, looking to maybe make that statement. ASU's played pretty well since the end of September outside, like I said, against that game. 24, I'm taking the points here.
Yeah, it's a good wager. One thing I'm going to miss about the old conferences after this year is sort of this scar tissue of knowing, like, Oregon has not played well in Arizona for years. I played in Arizona 3 times. We played well at Arizona State, but I've lost a quarterback at Arizona and then lost a quarterback at Arizona again. Like, in two straight years, I left there without my starting quarterback. You mentioned it, 2019, young Jaden Daniels beat Oregon in the exact same game week before the Civil War. Yep. This Oregon team is much different. I'm not worried about us losing this game at all, but I think this is a 31-10 game. That's I wrote for Fox Sports. Arizona State's defense only allowed 30 points or more twice this season. Like, they play good defense. They're a solid unit, but offensively, they're not going to be able to keep up. Like, that's the thing. It's like, can they keep it away from Oregon? They can't do the same thing against UCLA where they run this swinging gate stuff. Like, to me, it's 31-10, 31-13, something like that. Oregon gets over 30 for the 11th straight time this season, but they don't cover this game. I cannot see this being a blowout. I really don't see it being a blowout.
I don't either.
Yeah. So we'll stay in the Pac-12 for your next wager. Washington at Oregon State. Oregon State's favored by 2.5. The total is 63.5. Final Pac-12 game at Reser Stadium. They have to call the fire department so they can get more fans in the stadium this weekend. Washington's 10-0, ranked 5th in the country. They've only covered 4 games this season. Oregon State is 8-2 overall. They're 6-4 against the spread. Bear, what do we got here?
But since 2021, Oregon State 17-1 at home. They've covered all but 1 game. Pac-12 games, 11-1 straight up. Perfect 12-0 against the number. Yeah. Obviously, the 1 loss against SC a couple years ago. Doesn't it feel like everyone is on Oregon State here, though? And I went back and looked. It's like people, again, this is just a note, trend, a historical note that I find interesting. It's not a handicap for the game, but people will ask me questions like this.
Like I did earlier this week. I think
yes, this is exactly it. Since 1978, there have been 11 instances where you've had a top 5 team as an underdog away from home against a team with at least 2 losses. Those 11 teams, the top 5 teams, went 2-9.
Yeah.
6 of the 9 losses were by at least 14 points. The last time it happened was 2010 when Auburn, eventual national champion, was 11-0 in Tuscaloosa, 4-point dog. Bama got out to the big lead. Auburn came back, won the game, and got the win. So you got UW as a 2.5-point dog at Oregon State. I took Washington. They kind of remind me, for lack of a better word, a little bit of what TCU did last year. Yes. Defense wasn't good. Found a way to win games. Oh, by the way, they both wear purple as well. So
they do, yeah.
Clearly,
it's unfortunate, yeah.
Content.
It's a bad color.
Content creators here looking for from more great similarities, but I do think Washington has a little bit of a
team of destiny,
disrespect, and just things are falling into place for them. It will be a great Cinderella story for Oregon State to spoil their undefeated season in their final Pac-12 home game. Yeah. But I don't know.
So Washington's an interesting team, right? Like last weekend against Utah, the second half they allowed 0 points. They've actually allowed 7 points over the fourth quarter, and fourth quarters the last 4 games, which is ridiculous because the rest of the time they allowed a ton of points. And there's no actual rhyme or reason why.
I was just going to say, is this an adjustment or is it just
so the Utah game? Utah came out the first 5 plays the second half. I'm not going to rattle it through you guys, but it was just Utah making errors on their own. Guy falling down, bad pass. Even the interception that was unfortunately fumbled before the goal line, which, by the way, that would have sunk any other team, right? And then Washington just gets a safety immediately afterwards, right? So they are making itself, but like on that play, Utah had a 4-string tight end who ran sort of a bad route. Ball gets tipped up in the air, interception. Washington's doing enough to win. The Oregon State home road thing is fascinating to me. This season, they're 5-0 at home, average scoring margin of 40 to 12.8. On the road this year, they're 3-2, average scoring margin of 35, basically 36 points to 28 points. They allow so many more points on the road than at home. But the thing about their home schedule last 3 years, Bear, they played nobody good. Except Oregon last year. That was the only game they played in the last 3 years was a team that can actually beat them at home. On the road this year, they played Arizona, they played Washington, Washington State. The teams that can throw the ball against them have hurt them this year. I don't think they have an answer for Washington's passing game. I just don't. So
I don't think they do either.
And I think no one does. That's why Washington keeps winning football games. Oh, where's Rome Odunze at? Okay, let's throw it to him. Michael Penix's a good quarterback. I'm not knocking that, but I just don't. I think Washington feels like a team. It's not a great handicap, but just team that they keep having things go right for them.
Bear Bets full episodes drop twice a week right here on the Bear Bets YouTube channel. Remember to subscribe to stay ahead of the odds, and let's celebrate all of our wins together.